Yeah, I'm Danny Russo. I'm the CEO of Facility Grid. Chris Morgan, Group Vice President with Walbridge.
Excellent. So yeah, today's session is around driving certainty, mission critical delivery through kind of tech enablement project execution. So we're talking a lot. So we asked some Chris answer questions and about how they make their business more efficient with technology and how they go about a lot of fun topics. We've had a long partnership together. We'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to get into the topic of the quality and through ready systems. We're going to talk a little bit about business risks and impact of mitigating those risks in data center construction. And then hopefully we get a few questions. A quick little bit about Facility Grid. We're a software company founded in 2012. And we streamline sort of the asset installation process and commissioning quality control part of large construction. And we've been focusing a lot more on data centers more recently. And Walbridge are one of our big customers, bringing us into their new era of growth. And we're a centralized system that project teams use to track and document everything in the testing phase, the QC phase, and the CX phase of a project. And quite flexible, and there's the user of the system, use all their managing tools, integrate, and really extending with the Facility Grid products. One of the key things it does is connect all the teams in the process. So the commissioning team who have final sign-off on that quality, they can push those same tests and things back much earlier into the process, so that the installers, the automation teams, the trades teams can all be making sure that they're part of the installation process, so that system or equipment can pass the test when it gets to the prime test. Why don't you tell us all about Walbridge?
Sure. So Walbridge, we did this 110 years this month actually, March. So we're proud of that. Headquartered in Detroit with their offices in the United States and one in Brazil, one's in South America too. So ENR, they were the top 30. We're 24 this year. Number 1 and 2 in auto and manufacturing, and 10 in the data center space. Where 10 years ago, you didn't do any work in data centers. It was what we called a playbook. It was a market we wanted to enter. Put a plan together. I've actually got a job with Microsoft. So thanks to Microsoft, they brought us to the space. And now we're doing a lot of business in the data center space. Full service supplier from site selection to pre-construction engineering, construction. And then we also get into facility management that after a job's complete. And sadly, to some of our older aging markets, we do demolition of facilities that maybe we built 3 years ago. So full service. Data center space, again, just been in the last 10 years, he's grown. It's, again, it went from nothing 10 years ago to about 60% of our business. This year, we're doing $10 billion in revenue. So it's been incredible growth in the market. We have approximately 50 builds, of 50 gigawatts, either under construction or in development. So you can see some of them up there. But, it's a growing space that we all know. We're happy to be in it. It's very selective. Not everybody can do all these jobs.
Great. Yeah, we've been working together for 5 years. It's been a really strong relationship. Do you remember why you guys selected us and what you guys were doing before?
Yeah, dude, we had a quality process or starter commission that was Excel files,
QR codes, maybe, but just to a SharePoint site, very isolated, compartmentalized process. So we saw that we needed was a broader platform to help us have more visibility of it. What we do.
You guys have been a great partner, and yeah, when I see up on facility, they listen to us,
right? They tried to understand us first. They didn't, shove the technology down our throats, telling us it's the best thing since can beer. Here you go. They really listened to us, so we found a way over they could work to us.
So it's been great. Great. So let's jump into the topic of quality. I hear a lot about projects that typically have about 30% rework, right? So delays, cost overages. So why is quality so important? And like, how do you guys at Walbridge build quality into all of your process?
Well, quality is important. I think anybody who's been through any of the sessions today, it's sort of about, lack of resources, stretched resources. Everybody's one thin from
The subs to the owners, ourselves, commissioning agents. So you can't afford to do things multiple times. And safety, more times you go back and touch this, right? These chance for safety. I said in the auto lotto session and a complication of lockout, tag out when you're handing over one dev while working in another in different phases and to have to go back, it's just problematic. So you got to avoid the rework. Quality for us is trying to do it right the first time. We learned quality from Toyota, one of the best companies, most disciplined, quality-oriented companies in the world. And we took they called Kanban process, which was a 4-step process, commission, mechanical, electrical equipment. We took it with their permission and called it our V-Star process. And it was a very disciplined, step-by-step, gated process to, sign off each phase, punch list each phase, identify damage at each phase that, client could say right then on the truck, nope, send it back, or yeah, it's cosmetic, or, accept it, versus waiting to the end. So it's very important to us. We recognize the old client quality job, and we have to prove them and we didn't
So how much time do you think you guys spend in building that process and in each project, how much time is spent?
How much time will we spend on each job in quality? I'd say it's a third to 40% of our team's jobs. So much of what we do is quality, right? It might not be the physical checking a box, but it's being involved in, the submittal phase. Is it the right submittal? Is it the right thing? Is it coordinated all the way through? A field startup team checking out things with physical starters. So it's a big chunk of our time. It's a big chunk of ourselves, our owners, and our partners on trying.
Talk me through the lives ending that amount of time. Like, is it rework? Is it time saved?
Yeah, I think sadly it's a hidden cost. I mean, you had a chart earlier that kind of showed how facility agreement tied together a lot of the projects, pieces, parts of teams. There's probably 10 circles on that slide.
So for a simple one piece of equipment that has to get signed off, we'll let her statement of installation or construction. So there might be 10 people involved, and there's 1,500 pieces of equipment. Start doing the math.
450 of them might get looked at more than once. 10 people, 2 hours. You add it up, $100 an hour, 150 an hour. You'll get millions of dollars in just lost cost. You don't necessarily see it in change order. You don't necessarily see it as wasted cost. It's wasted time. We're big proponents of lean practices, and one of the forms of wasted lean is wasted resources, waiting.
Great. So let's jump into technology and enablement. So you're gracious to provide us a look at your technical stack here, and you guys typically use, I guess not every product gets it used on every project, but what was involved in curating your stack?
So,
I was always talking to my grandfather from in the Dual project, think whole toolbox, and you never know what tool you're going to be. Don't just take a screwdriver because you're wiring a switch. It might be something else. So this is our toolbox. So what we do on every job is we take that to either the client or just our project teams and say, what makes sense on this job? Big, small, a bigger job is going to have all of these things. Facility grid, obviously, access control quantity array system for watching people, tabbing and documenting who's coming in on the job site. Plot for deliveries. Hoilu is a pull planning, instead of a sticky notes, which I still like better in on the board, sticky note pull planning. So electronic pull planning, right? It takes a little more wherewithal to do, still important. Hammer checks break, the safety orientations that are done before people come in job site. It's after people come to the site that have much shorter orientation before they go to work. And then water well, I think near my yard is Weather IO with some of the tornadoes and severe weather that your flake.
Exactly. We pretty rough lot.
Yeah.
And you remember what to do. But these are great tools for us or safe on a job site, how to keep the workforce safe, when to close the job site or not. You predict the weather, not just the day of, but days in advance of storm. So these are work tool sets that we use on in almost all our jobs.
Yeah. So using the technology, obviously, there's always challenges in, first of all, finding the right technology, selecting the right technology, and getting people to use it. Um, how do you, at Walbridge, how do you make it an enabler for efficiency and streamlining people's jobs rather than the burden? Because some tools obviously take more work to put in and use, and then does using your own process.
Yeah, we really try to, you obviously embrace technology. We try to look at ourselves first, and
We're a good company with good processes. We do a lot of things right. So we want the technology to match that, to enhance what we do, not necessarily change what we do. When we became an ISO certified company 23 years ago, we didn't change everything we did and just say, "Oh, do it this way," because that's what ISO says. We took ISO and said, "Well, we do this already. How does that fit into ISO?" So that's where we're working technology. It's got to fit for us. A lot of great ideas out there. We vet them. We will say, "Yep, this was going to be a beta test." Try it out on 4 or 5 jobs, get feedback, and a lot of them fall wayside. We can't do everything. Not everything fits for us or how we do business. So we have the pretty rigorous process. But that's the big thing is I'd advise that a general contractor up for even client, it's got to look for you and your people with high doing business. If you have a good operation, you know what to do.
So flexibility is important.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
So the tech has to match morph the go process rather than forcing you to use what it.
Yeah. For you guys in the facility, we do our multiplier, right? We already did something well. Our V-start process was a good process. Now you multiply it, made it more productive and visible. A lot of good things came out of that. So that's we embraced.
What about mobile technology and enabling the teams of the field do more?
Yeah, 100%. Everyone knows you have to, any platform to be effective on construction site nowadays has to be enable a phone, a tablet, computer. There's so many people involved in so many places. I mean, it has to work. And then it's the real time down, right? Old days we had to go back and sync stuff and trail the dollars. People want and need real time information. And he was out the field, have to really quickly communicate with your home office or a client who might be across the country.
With this big data set of bills, the systems and the equipment in the building are becoming more and more complex, or more expensive. How do you guys think about like asset-centric project management around this system? Okay, and I guess it starts from plan all the way through, right? As your V-start process, right?
yeah, I mean, VCERT is asset driven, right? It was every piece of equipment was taken through years of, all stages of installation, shutdown, startup. So back we all hate to say old days when I'm getting old now, so I guess I got to say, I could build a job, I can walk the job and see our V-start processes through the 8.5 by 11 colored sheets of paper on equipment and understand the stabs of the job.
I walk the whole job in 2 hours. Most things are pink and yellow. That means they powers on, things are good. I can understand. You can't do that on these mega projects, such as dance center projects. You just can't walk it in and necessarily really know what's going on. So you need dashboards, you need data. So where are the assets at? How do you roll that up in a high level to say, this is what's going on, and then drill down, then there's problems. And your guys' platform does that for us. Gives us that ability.
When you talked about Toyota and Kanban and Six Sigma Kenzamai and continuous improvement, was I guess a key thing that actually goes back to the previous session about the future workforce and how to train people. how do you continually improve, project you did here, you move from that, move to the next one. So come forward, there's documentation, reporting, continuous improvement.
Yeah, yes. Obviously, there's support for knowledge transfer. We have an aging workforce. We have an aging, corporate workforce of our superintendents, our field supervisors. We're all saying that the construction industry, it's an aging workforce. So how do we transfer that knowledge? That's some missioning Mars. And we're pulling the younger generation and newer generation along quicker. They're learning faster. They're just, they don't get as many rotations. They get put in the fight right away, and they got to learn. So how do you pass those lessons up? With facility, we have a way to grab lessons, problems, issues from one job, and it's documented. And we just take that, pull them out, filtering, send them to the next team, so they don't make the same mistakes, or they learn by those problems. Before we got a lessons learned meeting at the end of the job, and we fill out like Excel sheet and talk. We have a way to capture a diabetic. Send this to all our data sections. This was a problem with whatever. It's applicable across a broad range of our products, and we have
those repeatable processes, evaluates the templates, process changes the next rows.
That's right. Change it, fix it, or at least identify it and bring it up as a potential problem. There's a solution. Yeah.
All right, risks. So you got any stories on some of the worst things you've seen go wrong in a big construction project, or that's some
worst things I did is going to clients saying, hey, we're not going to be done next week. And then that we're going to be, it's going to be a little later. How much later are you going to ask us? Why? Why wouldn't we know? Those are the conversations we work fast. As much certainty as we can give them, right? Price, these kind of certainty. Obviously, the certainty of quality, trust. Yeah, it should build trust or proof, right?
So you guys are building an asset building. Was like, if that building falls over, there's no trust, right?
Why are we where we're at? Where are we at? And what's left to do? We need systems to have that visibility to show the client. When clients get nervous, and you're behind schedule, you're all well. First of all, I've got calls that you're all screwed up. Well, what does that mean? Safety on it. Safety, okay, because safety is good. So you break it down. But if we have a good platform to show where we're at and prove it time and again, then gain that trust. The client gains that certainty. And we don't have to have those couple of conversations about, hey, what's without we're on schedule, we're not.
And that has an actual impact on the quality of the job and the abstract, sure, customer happiness and repeat business,
all those things. I mean, we always say we're almost as good as our reputation. So reputation, if that fails and client doesn't feel they have confidence in what we say is correct, that's the problem. Can be a problem. Maybe we're not on a bid list. Maybe we're just thought of differently. We want it to be like, hey, trust us. We're going to have problems, but we communicate those very proactively. So it sounds proper.
Yep. So going back to the technology stack, like how do you think that the technology stack that you guys have curated helping you guys manage that risk or reduce the risk?
Everything we do is to be better at what we know how to do. So again, it's taking something and just saying, why are we doing this? What does it do for us? What does it give us? Or does it give us a better output, a better predictability? Whether it was a good example of, you don't want to tell a client that the day before the weekend that we're not working next weekend, but we have ways to use that weather data and say, hey, it's going to rain 5 inches tomorrow. Sites can be shut off due to this or this. And it's there, and everybody's a repair. So we always want to be proactive in anything we execute with to help us predict or explain in a better way, or why something's the way you just.
Yeah, like improving visibility into issue. I guess someone's watering the site, sees a problem. With technology, you could distribute that information to everyone quicker, and therefore get out to the person whose job it is to fix that problem.
Yeah. In the case of the quality-wise with the facility grid, if there's an issue on the site, the foreman of the subcontractor that has that issue to the no right gets rasped, get routed directly to
It's documented that they have it, and then they know the response. Technology, they know there's ball occur with that. There's so much technology up there, so much communication. You got to streamline. You got to be careful. You're not blasting everything to everybody. But you do need that high level of who's responsible. Do they know? Were they notified prompt? Take care of their business.
Together.
Yes, 100%.
Well, I have plenty more questions, but only got 5 minutes left, so we might open up there. And the question is, to Chris and myself, I want to.
What do we do for productivity?
Yeah, productivity. Yeah, so like say you put in building systems or tracking, piping systems going in. Do you guys have a production tracking
We
system that you guys use?
we do productivity tracking. It's different for each subcontractor because each aspect of work maybe has a different unit of measure. So we have different technologies. Some of our drones can actually measure work in place. We're experimenting with a lot of scanning data. We haven't done a lot of it. A lot right now. It's verification of the model, maybe on an app or with a field-based computer. People going in and actually check it with the model. But for us, it's evolving. I mean, for the most part now, it's people-based.
Good question.
I do have 2 questions.
Okay.
First of all, for the platform facility grade, is this for commissioning only, correct? So
It has 2 functions. So it is the commissioning phase, and that's where the company was founded. And we've, over the last 2 years, we've built our operational readiness, which is much earlier in the life cycle of the asset deployment. So it covers the installation phase and all the can do all the steps and tracking there, the QA verification, and then the commissioning, and then like the closeout tracking of everything, of the whole process, of all the issues and the documentation that goes to the owner, that is everything signed off and ready for moving.
so it's fulfill all construction phase needs from quality standpoints, and also
We're only in for the equipment, for the assets going in, and we don't do much in like the design phase and the vendor selection phase and those things at the start.
Right. The question I have particular subject is there any platform or can facility grade getting more update to plug in all those all-in-one construction kits?
Yeah, we have integrations into tools like Procore, and like if the general contractor on the job is using a financial system like Procore to, get vendors in, pay them, all that type of stuff, as well as sort of the high level project tracking, we integrate with those types of systems. But we're very, very specialized into the equipment aspects. Yeah.
Thank you.
You can come to the booth afterwards. We're booth 29 or 30, and we can dig into your question. Yeah.
Chris, I'm not easily impressed, I don't think, but the number of jobs you're doing is truly impressive. Are you at liberty to share with us at all, like, how many different companies that is, or give us a taste of what that business is in terms of the centers that you're building?
How many companies we're working for?
Yes.
It's actually a small group of companies. We say we have about 10 foundational clients that we're very loyal to and have been loyal to us, obviously, that have driven that $10 billion. We're still big in the automotive space, and we're currently only working for 2 hyperscalers, but soon to be working for 3 more development side hyperscalers. So it's a very small list of clients. We've had to be selective because the growth's been so fast. We couldn't abandon, the Fords and the GMs and the Toyotas of the world, because they're who made us what we are and have been too good to us. But yet we couldn't, say no to the opportunity of the mission critical space. So we've had to be very selective, and it's tough. We say no way more than we say yes, and it's really hard. But our philosophy is we'd rather say no to a client now than have them be upset with us
versus saying yes, and then we stretch ourselves too thin, we fail or we don't deliver, and then we've ruined someone's reputation at that company, let alone our reputation. So, but it's tough. I'm sure it is for a lot of the other contractors out there. It's hard to say no.
Yeah, because one project can take 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You need how many people and how do you scale? Let's say you say just
And it's a new world for us. These campuses keep going, some of them, right? We've been on some of these campuses for years. You know, typical automotive job would be 18, 24 months tops, and then you're going somewhere else. But some of these data center campuses, they're just, you guys tell us if they're going to end. We don't know.
As soon as we stop using data.
Oh, so they're not going to end. That's what Oh, another question? Or appointment?
My question is more so on the generational gap. So, for example, when you take a subcontractor, you have your foreman, your superintendents out in the field who are more so skilled on the technical side and not on the technology side. Do you guys offer training modules, workshops to train subcontractors on your tech stack?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do. When we take on a new client, we have an implementation phase where we will set up all the accounts, set up all the templates, repeatable processes, map the product to your process. Then once you go live, you're assigned a customer success representative that will meet with you and will be your contact, and they can do trainings for new project teams that are taking on the software for the next project or whatever.
You did it for us in Tennessee with Blue City Ford. I mean, that was our first mega project with Facility Grid, and we did exactly that. We brought in the trades, key people on the trades that were going to be involved in this process, and trained them right on site in the trainers.
Yeah, and then we also have some services where you could buy a full-time person to administrate the system and do all the training and be your first level support, answer your questions, add users, take users out, spin up new projects. So there's all various things you could do with us in that area. Our goal is to map it to your process so that it can technology enable your business so you deliver your services better. Is the goal, I'm sure. That's it. We're out of time.